there you go. Just preparing the live stream for YouTube. Hopefully this works. It's the second time I've done this. Excellent. Cool, so that's working. So let me mute that. Fine. Okay, sorry to keep you waiting there. It's all rock and roll now. So that's good. Can you just type into the chat how my audio is from 1 to 10, if you can hear me well, if it's loud enough? Let's have a look at what you're saying. Excellent, 10. Rock and roll. Right. Cool. Let's just get started. This lecture is usually done by Jamal, but Jamal's off taking the TOEIC. So I'm going to take this one. This is a vocabulary lecture. It's a core skills lecture. It's essential for IELTS, PTE, OET, TOEFL, whatever English test you're taking. It's essential for your everyday English as well. In this one, we're going to look at prepositions. We're going to, prepositions are really complicated and there aren't many rules for prepositions. Words like in, on, at, to, for, with, across, through, etc. A lot of them you have to just memorize phrases and memorize how to use them. But there are some rules and it's more of the simpler ones. So this lecture today is kind of beginner intermediate, but nevertheless, even if you're advanced, you should watch this because it will make you feel more confident when you use prepositions. So first thing I want you to do is identify them. I'm going to show you a text. I want you to write down the prepositions and count how many you see. Okay, here it is. I'll give you 1 minute. Cool. Amy says 5. Jugby has found them. Smitra says 6. Naresh has found 3. Oh no, 2 ons, 4. Jacqueline's found 4. Cool. All right. Good. It looks like you know how to spot them, so that's good. They're a tricky little word. They're usually short. They're usually 2 letters or 3 letters, like of, in, at, to, etc. Sometimes they can be longer, such as through or across, etc. So let's look. There were 5 here. There was in, on, for, and at. They are the prepositions in this paragraph. You can see that they are used very often. In a single paragraph here of 2 sentences, they're used 5 times. So we need to be precise when we use our prepositions. So what are they? Well, not so much what are they, what do they do? What does a preposition do in a sentence? It expresses 2 things. Well, 3, but let's just look at the first 2 today. They express time and location. Sometimes they express movement, okay, of a noun. So time, when something happened, location, where. They tell us that. That's what they're used for. And sometimes, as I said, they're used for movement as well. But let's just look at time and location. Let's look at time first. So let's look at these 3, in, on, at. There are rules for in, on, at with regards to time. We use in for long periods of time. We use on for short periods of time. And we use at for precise periods of time. Okay? So let's look at in for long periods of time first. In February, in 2008, long periods of time, months and years, for example. We use on for short periods of time, like on the 3rd of February, day, or on Thursday for days. And we use at for precise periods of time. At 5 p.m., at midday, at midnight, at 8 o'clock this morning, etc. For precise, we use at. Fine, in, on, at. So let's look at this little table here. It breaks it down and gives you lots of examples. So in for months, years, and long periods, like in May, in summer, in the summer, in 1990, in the 1990s, in the next century, in the Ice Age, in the past or future. Long periods of time. We use on for days and dates, Sunday, Tuesdays, 6th of March, 25th of December, Christmas Day, Independence Day, on my birthday, etc. We use at for 3 o'clock, 10:30 a.m., noon, dinner time, bedtime, sunrise, sunset, etc. So at for precise time. You can see these sentences here. I have a meeting at 9 a.m. The shop closes at midnight. Catherine went home at lunchtime. In Australia, it often rains in July. Do you think we'll go to Jupiter in the future? There'll be a lot of progress in the next century, on Mondays, on the 20th of November, on New Year's Day. So there they are in the sentences expressing long periods of time, short periods of time, or precise periods of time. Cool? Here's a task. I want you to complete the sentences with the correct preposition of time, okay? Let me disappear. Quickly just type into the chat using the correct preposition. Just keep that rule in mind about long periods of time, short periods of time, etc. Cool. Okay, 10 seconds. Three, two, one. Cool bananas. Well done. Let's look at the answers. Light bulb was invented in 1879 on Sunday at 11 p.m. You can see a precise one at midday, precise, in, longer, on the 22nd, in summer. Now, you might think, okay, this is quite basic, but if you want to go from an IELTS 6 to an IELTS 7, or if you want to go from a PTE 60 to 79, you need to think about precision, because it's one thing to get your nouns and your verbs right, and that's important. That's extremely important. They're sort of the fundamentals or the basics. But to push up into the higher scores for IELTS and PTE or OET, it's about precision. And in fact, what you want to aim for ultimately is perfection, because it is possible to write perfect sentences and perfect paragraphs. And often these small words like prepositions or articles, they get neglected because people worry too much about conveying basic meaning, and that's fine. You can say a sentence without the correct article or without the correct preposition, and I can still understand it. But to get to that level of precision is what you want to do, okay? And that means prepositions, articles, getting the adverb right, etc. Let's move now to location, and it's the same principle. But this time we're talking about location or where. So we use in for an enclosed space. We use on for surface, and we use at for a precise location. In, enclosed space, on a surface, at a precise location. So let's look at in for an enclosed space, like in the city. Even though that's big, it's still an enclosed space because you can imagine the buildings, etc. Or in the book, enclosed space, if it's in the book. Or in the bedroom, you can see the walls of the bedroom, so it's enclosed. We use on for surfaces. So the street is a surface. My face is a surface. Or the table is a surface. So on the table, on your face, on the street. We use at for precise locations, like at the library, at work, at the shop. But of course, you can be in the library, but if you're talking about a precise location, you'll use at the library, okay? Let's look at this table with examples so in for enclosed space, in a garden, because it's enclosed because of the trees, in Sydney, so cities, France, countries, in a box, pocket, wallet, building, car. Okay, so you're never on the car or at the car. Well, you can be at the car, but in the car is the enclosed space. On the wall, ceiling, door, cover, floor, carpet, menu. So it's on the menu, on a page. These are surfaces, right? And specific locations like at the corner, at the bus stop, at the door, at the top of the page, at the end of the road, at the entrance, at the crossroads, at the front desk. So you could be, there could be something on the door, but if you're talking about a specific location of a person, they are at the door, okay? So let's do a task. What I want you to do is, like before, complete the sentences with the correct preposition of location. Here we go, let me disappear. I'll give you 1 minute to do this one. Please save your Q&A for the end. Number 2 is tricky. Think about airport. Is it a precise location? Is it a surface? Is it an enclosed space? That's a good example. Cool, 10 seconds. All right, let's look at the answers. Cool, well done. So, I'll wait for you at the bus stop. Okay, it's a precise location. Now here, the airport. My plane stopped in the airport. Does the plane go in the airport? No. Does the plane go on the airport as a surface? No, it goes, my plane stopped on the runway, because that's a surface, on the runway. But we're talking about a precise location here, not inside it, not on it, at it. Talking about my plane stopped at Dubai Airport. Meeting in the room, in the apartment, on the tag, at the end of the street, on the 7th floor, surface, floor. Cool. There is a logic to these prepositions. Good. Let's summarize. I want you to choose the correct prepositions. Let's try this one here. The last one was a surface. It was talking about the floor, the 7th floor, the 10th floor. So it's on the 10th floor, the surface. Cool. 10 seconds. Yes, number 9 is a bit tricky. Think about precise location. Cool. Let's have a look. All right. So keeping money in the bank, enclosed space, in, at home, precise location, in a town, enclosed space, in your country, on the door. The door's the surface. Doesn't have to be that way. The surface can be like that, on the wall, on the door. That's fine. In the newspaper. I read it in the newspaper, although it's just like a book. It's in the newspaper. I enjoy swimming in the ocean, enclosed space by water. Cat is sleeping on the carpet, surface, at the top. Here, this is the interesting one. The information is at the top of the page. That's correct. A lot of people say the information is on top of the page. No, actually, that's wrong. You can't say the information is on the top of the page because it's referring to a precise location, not the surface. Were you at the party to precise location? Good. Right. Let's go back to that complicated paragraph that we read at the start, and I want you to try and figure out the prepositions for this one here. This time it's more complicated, a bit more academic. Try your hand at this one. Yes. Good, Bruno, but we consider newspapers and books to be in. Cool. So you've had the easy examples. These ones get a bit more complicated, but the same principles apply. So a tennis court. Tennis court for number 4. Right, 10 seconds. Cool. Well done. Right, let me appear. Okie dokie, let's look at the answers here. Let me disappear again. The Australian Open is a major tennis tournament held annually in the last fortnight of January in Melbourne. Prior to 1988, the tournament had been played on grass. Why? Surface, not in the grass. You could say in the grass, but it changes the meaning. It's played on grass because we're talking about the grass here as a surface. Since 1988, the matches have been played on, again, surface, 3 primary courts. Precise location at Rod Laver Arena. You could say in Rod Laver Arena, but here we're using it as a precise location, not talking about enclosed space. So we use the preposition at. Held in 1905, long period of time. Let's go back here. Let's go back up here. Held annually on the last fortnight of January. No, fortnight here refers to long period of time. In the last fortnight of January. In Melbourne, enclosed space. So if you had in, on, at, in, you would have got full points. Right. Sometimes there's, what can I say here? Sometimes it is possible to use other prepositions, but if we want to be precise with our language and it comes down to precision, these are the particular prepositions that you need to use to be precise. And as I said before, the difference between an IELTS 6.5 and an IELTS 7 might be the precision of your prepositions. Or an PTE 65 compared to a 79 might be the precision of your prepositions. So we've learned some rules. What you should start to do is start to think about prepositions when you see them or when you hear them, because you'll need to learn them. Sometimes the rules apply and sometimes the rules do not apply, okay? And it's difficult to think about things in terms of location and surface and precision, stuff like that. So eventually it will become natural for you to say tennis is played on grass instead of in the grass. But on the grass is the precise way to say this, not in the grass, okay? So it's tricky. Cool. Recap. So time, we use in for long periods of time, on for short periods of time, and at for precise periods of time. Location, we use in for an enclosed space, on for a surface, and at for a precise location. That's it. Let's go to Q&A. Let me make myself a bit bigger and let's go to the chat. What have we got? Okay, Paresh wants the logic for in. So if we're talking about time, long periods of time, in the last century, in 2004. If we're talking about space, we're talking about enclosed space, like in the city, in the jungle, in the ocean, enclosed. So Mayo, there's no relationship between articles and prepositions. Articles depend on the noun, not the preposition, okay? If you're still confused about articles, please watch the video in the Core Skills channel on articles. Okay, so Belal's got a good example here. Do we say in the campus or at the campus? Well, it depends on what you're trying to say. it depends on the sentence, on the context of the sentence. We could say, my friend is at the campus, just precise location. Or let's say we're already at the campus and you say, where's your friend? And you say, oh, she's in the campus somewhere. Okay, so it depends on the context of the sentence. So sometimes you can use in and sometimes you can use at. Sadaf, what's the difference between a short period of time and a precise period of time? Well, I give webinars on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Okay, so Tuesday is the short period of time, but the precise period of time is at 4 p.m. Okay, so you might have to remember that one. Tayyab wants to see the previous slide again. Okay, let me disappear. Let's go back. You might want to write this down actually. So when we're talking about time, we use in for long periods of time, on for short periods of time, at for precise periods of time. In general, there will be exceptions. Location, we use in for an enclosed space, on for a surface, and at for a precise location. Cool, all right. Excellent. I have to roll because I'm doing a PT study plan with somebody on e2language.com. Look, yes, what about the other prepositions? We'll get to that. Today, I just wanted to give you the sort of fundamental knowledge of prepositions. Eventually, we're going to get into the more abstract academic use of prepositions, like according to, or with regards to, or I can't think of any off the top of my head, but we'll get there, okay? We will get there. Cool. Let me stop screen sharing. And let me cut this one short, and I will see the PTE people tonight for the listening mock test. Cool. See you soon. And I'll see the IELTS people in 1 hour for IELTS speaking. Okay? See you soon.